Having a lack of sleep because your baby won't sleep through the night is going to make you more agitated, it's going to cause friction, and it's likely going to elevate the amount of bickering in your household. You might be running thin on patience and definitely like on thin ice with everyone around you. And maybe you're ready to start sleep training your baby, but you're worried about how it's going to affect your relationship with your spouse. Let me tell you a story about a client that I was working with in home. So I was there in home when this was happening. And I will preface this with, I have changed my contract because of this one situation. So imagine this, I'm live on location, walking the parents through sleep training. The dad had no idea that I was coming over. He didn't know what I did or what we were about to do, and he had no idea that sleep training was about to take place in his home. Now, I walked the parents through different sleep training methods and different options, and the mom opted for a leave and check method. While we were in the middle of the first interval round, the dad decided to go in the room, pick up the baby, bring the baby out of the room, put the baby on the mom's lap, the mom who happened to be pumping at that time, and he said, be a mother and take care of your child and put her to sleep. What? This is a prime example of parents being on two completely different pages and where the exhaustion is literally running them into the ground. And if it's not running them into the ground, it's definitely running their relationship into the ground. After that interaction, the dad went into his bedroom, locked the door, and went to sleep. I was blown away, but also not surprised because this particular child had been waking every single hour for over 8 months. With that being said, I definitely put a clause in my contract stating that both parents are on board with sleep training and are willing to follow the plan and put in the work. But let's talk about some ways that we can implement sleep training without destroying your relationship. Number one is to talk about why sleep training makes sense. What are you missing? Why do you feel like you need to do this? It could just be because you're tired and you need to prioritize your sleep, which means you need to prioritize the baby's sleep. It could also mean that you want your evenings back. You want to be able to put your baby down knowing that they're going to sleep through the night and that you have a couple of hours to yourself, to spend with your spouse, to go out for a girls' night, to do whatever you want to do. And if that makes sense to both of you, then it's the perfect time to start talking about sleep training. The next thing that you should definitely do with your spouse or your partner is to identify your non-negotiables. If one spouse is not okay with a leave and check method, then you should not go for a leave and check method. If cry it out is completely off the table, which for most families I work with, it is off the table, that is something that needs to be discussed ahead of time. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, I've also worked with families who are parent present in the room, and one of the parents says, I don't want to be sitting in this room for 45 minutes to an hour every night until the kid falls asleep. And so that might be that parent's non-negotiable. Regardless what your non-negotiables are, there needs to be a conversation about it, and you need to be on the same page. Speaking of being on the same page, the third thing is being on the same page with the step-by-step method. Now, you might say, okay, we are going to opt for a leave and check method. That's great and fine. However, how long are you leaving for? What are you doing when you're checking in? How long are you checking in for? And what are you doing after that? Are you increasing interval times? Are you not increasing interval times? Be on the same page because inconsistency equals failure. The fourth thing, and arguably one of the most important things, is to define your roles. Now, from a very young age, once we had 3 kids in my household, it was the plan for my husband and I that he was going to start bath time and the bedtime routine while I cleaned up dinner and the kitchen, and then we both would do the bedtime routine, put the kids down together because 3 against 2, we're still outnumbered. And that is what we did for all the years of our kids being young. Not that they're like old now, but they are 8, 10, and 11, so they're doing all of that stuff on their own. Another role that needs to be defined is knowing who is taking what shift. Are you alternating every single wake up? Are you taking shifts as in mom does bedtime to 2 a.m., dad does 2 a.m. to wake up time, or the reverse? Or how is this going to look? This needs to be discussed way before you start implementing sleep training, as opposed to at 2 o'clock in the morning. Another really important rule to discuss is who is tracking sleep. Are you using an app? Are you using a piece of paper? Are you using the Notes app in your phone? What are you doing to track sleep, and who is responsible for keeping track of it? This is especially important if you're working with a sleep consultant like myself, because we need to know exactly what is going on in the middle of the night. We need to know when your child's waking up, what you did, how they fell back asleep, how long they were awake for, all the things. So someone needs to be keeping track. And hands down, it's a lot easier if just one person takes that role. The next thing that you need to do is validate each other's feelings. That doesn't need to look like a kumbaya circle where you pass the stick and talk about your feelings, but it does need to look like something as simple as saying, this is hard. I know this is hard. I know you're having a hard time. We can do this, we can get through it, be each other's cheerleaders. And if you don't have the capacity to do that or be that person, then hello, hire a sleep consultant. And especially if you have the option to have a local sleep consultant to come in home and be there with you as you're getting through those hardest parts of sleep training, that is even more important to be able to do, especially if you think that you don't have the capacity to be that encouraging person. And that's okay if you can't be, but understand and recognize what you are and are not capable of, and hire out if you need to. Last but not least, remember that this is temporary. You're not sleep training forever. Your child is not going to cry forever. They're not going to stay awake forever. They're not going to be hungry forever. They're not going to fight sleep forever. Nothing is forever. And that is a blessing and a curse at the same time, because in a year from now, you are going to miss these moments. You're going to miss when your baby was this little. Honestly, you might miss being up in the middle of the night. I remember when my firstborn was born and awake all night, and I just remember looking out the window and just thinking, hey buddy, it's me and you against the world. So remember that this is temporary. This too shall pass. You will get through it, and you'll get through it quicker if you are committed to the process. Don't forget that you can do it. If you're ready for help and you need a sleep consultant on your side, texting you or being there in person, then check out the link in my description box down below, book a consultation, and keep blooming. Mwah.